Our daughter recently turned 18, and shortly after her 18th birthday, we had her sign 4 legal documents. Those being a durable power of attorney, a medical power of attorney, a living will, and a HIPAA authorization. And you may be wondering, what in the world is going on in that family? Why would you give these things to your child as an 18th birthday gift? Well, I promise you, there's a method behind the madness there. As an 18-year-old in Texas, that person is legally an adult. And that applies even if they still live in your house, even if you still claim them as a dependent on your income tax return. You might still pay for all of their food, their cell phone bill, their insurance, car insurance, health insurance, all their school activities, all their clothes. And yes, even if you still do their laundry, as an 18-year-old, they are considered an adult. So there's some real-world implications of what it means to be an adult. First of all, you as the parents, you don't have automatic authority to speak on their behalf. So if they have a financial need or they need somebody to talk to the bank for them or the insurance company or credit card company, you can't do it now because they're an adult. That power rests on them. Or if your child is maybe away at school or on a trip and they get sick or injured and they go to the nurse, the doctor, the clinic, you don't have the legal authority to call up and speak to the doctor or the nurse on their behalf. That power rests with them. And even still, you don't have the ability to call up and just get information about what's going on medically or find information about a prescription that they were given. I think the worst case scenario would be that if your child were in an accident and they're in an emergency room and perhaps you're not there, you don't have the ability to call up and try to get information. Or you can try to get information, but very likely the doctors, the nurse, the hospital, they're not going to tell you anything because you don't have the authority to get that information yet. That's why we had our daughter sign those things, because even though she's an adult, we want her to make her own decisions within reason. We still want her to be able to allow us to help her out in those situations. So a couple things to know. As the parent, even if you really want your child to do this, understand that the young adult child would be the client in this situation. The attorney-client relationship would be created between them and the attorney. That means that the young adult child gets to decide who they name as the agent on those certain documents. So if you have a child who will soon be 18, maybe going off to school, going to work, going to the military, or maybe your young adult child turned 18 a number of years ago, I encourage you to encourage them to take the important step. Maybe it's the first thing they do as a young adult is to take the responsibility to put those documents in place.